and see if the mouth of the person has drooped. If the person has deviation of the angle of the mouth to one side, if the mouth is deviated to one side, the person could have suffered from stroke. Or you examine the arms of the patient. Can the person lift both arms? You ask him to lift the arms up, and if he is doing this, able to lift the other arm, you know that there is a problem. Or he lifts the two arms, then this one starts to drift down, then you know there is a problem. Or you assess the person's speech. Is the speech slurred? Or does the person understand you? These are things that could be pointers to the fact that the person could have suffered from stroke. And time is very critical. When we discover this, then we should act fast. These are risk factors that you can do something about. If you take care of the risk factors, then one can prevent stroke from occurring. And the first of this is hypertension, which is the commonest risk factor for stroke worldwide. And it accounts for about 65 to 80% of all stroke cases in Nigeria. From our studies, we've discovered that up to about 80% of patients who suffer from stroke actually have hypertension. And the incidence of having stroke increases in proportion to both systolic and diastolic blood pressures. Now, systolic and diastolic blood pressures, if we've had our blood pressure checked before, we'll know that they will tell us it is 120/80. So you have a figure that is above and a figure that is below that reading. The one above is the systolic blood pressure, and the one below is the diastolic blood pressure. So whether one has the one above, the one I said is 120, the upper limit of normal is 140. Whether it is 150/80 or 160/70 does not really matter. The fact that one's blood pressure is above the normal is a risk factor for having a stroke. Then diabetes mellitus is a clear risk factor for stroke, particularly those ones that will be due to blockage of the blood vessels supplying the brain. And we have studies that have shown this.
Later in the day, a dinner was organized by the wife of the governor of Kwara State, Mrs. Omalewa Ahmed, in honor of members of Form 1. Her Excellency was represented by her advisor on media and publicity, Hajia Zainab Kanike, who appreciated Form 1 for honoring the invitation of Her Excellency. The second day of the conference was slated for the formal opening ceremony among many other activities. The ceremony was attended by important dignitaries from far and near, including the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar III. Other dignitaries in present include the Executive Governor of Kwara State, Alhaji Dr. Abdel Fattah Ahmed, and wife, Mrs. Omalewa Ahmed. Representative of Emir of Ilorin and wife of the Emir. Also in attendance is the Secretary General, Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, the Vice Chancellor of University of Ilorin, Professor Abdul Ghani Ambali, also Board of Trustees, past and present national emirs of Form 1, among many other dignitaries. The grand formal opening ceremony of the 30th Annual National Conference of Form 1 kick-started with an opening prayer by the first Grand Qadi of Kwara State, Justice Abdul Qadir Orire.
Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا لا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا فلا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به
آمين
واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين.
آمين.
In the name of Almighty Allah, the compassionate, the merciful, we beseech you, Almighty God, to guide our conference, to protect us and lead us to the right path. We beseech you, Almighty God, to be with us always, from the beginning up to the end of this conference, to provide us with all what is needed to make good our country, our society, and our community.
In her address, the National Amira of Form 1, Hajia Amina Omoti, ably represented by her Naiba, Barrister Farida Saida Yusuf, highlighted some achievements of the association for the past 30 years.
The achievement of Form 1 these past years is encapsulated in the Muslim Woman magazine, billed to be launched at this event. This edition of the magazine succinctly showcases our modest efforts across the states and the impact these efforts have made on both women and children, including the society at large. I will, however, highlight some of these achievements here. Form 1 as an association whose major focus is education, especially that of the girl child and women, has made giant stride in the education sector and has contributed to the educational growth of the country with over 100 nursery, primary, and secondary schools, 200 Islamia/Quranic centers, and adult literacy and vocational skill acquisition centers. The annual youth camp organized by the association is to ensure that the young ones who are the leaders of tomorrow are carried along. Through the annual Form 1 National Education Summit, which has become a major event in the life of the association for the past 15 years, timely education topics are articulated and a communique issued after each event on how best to have an effective education delivery in the country. Form 1 has contributed to the achievement in the health sector in Nigeria. Form 1 is a part of the success story in the reduction of polio in Nigeria, campaign against HIV/AIDS, maternal, child, and reproductive health care. Some of these efforts are made through the Form 1 clinics, hospitals, maternity homes, as well as advocacy visits to those directly affected and infected. The association has 2 VVF repair facilities in Kano and Kaduna. Being a humanitarian organization, Form 1 has orphanages and is involved in lending a hand of support to victims of the insurgency in the country, especially women and children.
The chairman of the occasion, Justice Mustafa Akambi, speaking through his representative, Dr. Mudaffir Abdusalam, gave a concise opening address to the gathering.
The theme of this conference is appropriate and timely. Our corporate existence has been threatened by religious and ethnocultural differences. Gender's unpatriotic and selfish leaders have exploited these differences to fan the embers of hatred, disaffection, fear, suspicion, and disunity among Nigerians, while they looted our commonwealth and pauperized our people. To play an effective role in the process of national integration and development, Muslims need to be united. The need for Muslims to be united is an injunction by Allah. It is a necessity for the spiritual, moral, physical, and corporate existence of the entire Ummah. Quran 3:103 says, and hold fast all together by the rope which Allah stretches out for you, and be not divided among yourselves. Thus, as Allah warned Muslims as brothers in the common cause, serving the one and only God, Allah, not to engage in quarrels among themselves so as not to weaken their corporate existence and solidarity. For true indeed is the saying that a house divided against itself is sure to fall. The point here is that it is a clear duty to encourage healthy rivalry, the sort of rivalry that assures our right to live as Muslims and to worship and serve Allah as He would want us to do. It is by divine design or destiny and not by accident that Allah has made Nigeria what it is. For has it not been said, if thy Lord has so willed, He would have made mankind one people. But they will not cease to dispute. Quran 3 verse 118. Our society therefore is a complex and complicated one, and no one group can and ought to be allowed to lord it over the other. For Muslims to play their roles effectively in the society, we need peace. Islam is a religion of peace. Unfortunately, it has been misrepresented by some people with ulterior motives and selfish interests. We must be united in condemning terrorism and violence by miscreants who hide under the canopy of Islam.
A keynote address titled "A Clarion Call to Nigerian Women" was delivered by Chairman Baikatni Limited, Dr. Abdurrauf Wale Babalakin's son. In his speech, which was more of a testimony, he commended Muslim women in Nigeria, especially members of Form 1, for actively dispatching their activities in the cause of Islam. He said he himself is a beneficiary of Form 1.
Let me start by commending the role of Muslim women, the role Muslim women have played thus far in the actualization of the objective of Form 1. I must state without fear of equivocation that the Muslim women in Nigeria have made very serious strides in furtherance of the objectives of Form 1. I am particularly well positioned to discuss this topic, as I can say very confidently that I have been a direct beneficiary of the considerable effort of women in the pursuit and actualization of the objectives of Form 1. I recollect with great nostalgia series of events that took place in my life that were greatly influenced by the dynamism of Muslim women who actively promoted the cause of Islam and were guided by the principles of and objectives of Form 1. I cannot begin to imagine what would have happened to a lot of young children were we not fortunate to have enjoyed the benefits of the activities of these great women. Challenges of growing up in a multi-religious society. I was privileged to have been born into a Muslim family. Both my parents were practicing Muslims, but more importantly, they were also activists in the cause of Islam. My father remains active even though he is quite advanced in age. He will be 90 years of age very soon, inshallah. Notwithstanding his age, he is still active in the propagation of Islam. He was president of Muslim Society of Southwest Nigeria, Muswen, till about a year ago. My mother, may the Almighty accept her soul in Al-Jannah Firdaus, was extremely active in various Muslim activities until she passed on 11 years ago. Growing up in Ibadan in the early 60s posed some challenge to our parents. They wanted us to be good Muslims and also to be very well educated. Most of the very good schools were owned and run by Christian societies or missionaries. Some of the schools actively encouraged children to change their faith, while some others relied on subtle influences to persuade the young Muslim children to change their faith. Without a strong mind, which could only come from a proper Muslim background, it was very easy to be swayed by the environment to abandon the Islamic faith. The strength of our parents, especially our mothers, kept us in check and prevented this unfortunate incident from happening. I attended Secretariat Private School for my nursery and primary school education. I recollect vividly that I was the only Muslim in the class that passed out of primary school in 1970. Maybe there were others who were born into Muslim families, but I do not remember any other person in the class proudly proclaiming himself as a Muslim. It required a lot of courage to do so, as we were bound to face a barrage of questions, if not an avalanche of criticism, for claiming that you were of Muslim faith. I was fortunate to have parents who insisted that I receive lessons in Quranic studies at home thrice a week. My mother did everything that was necessary to ensure that I took the Quranic study very seriously. I was incentivized by her regularly. Not all the incentives were pleasant. Sometimes I was scolded for avoiding the teacher who came to the house in the afternoon. Our effort did not go to waste, as I completed the Holy Quran before I proceeded to secondary school at the age of 10. I had survived in a Muslim in a Catholic environment, largely due to my mother's participation of my parents in my religious life. I proceeded to Government College Ibadan in 1971. It was a school owned by the government of Western Nigeria. It was supposed to be secular in orientation, as it was funded by government and not any religious body. It was only secular in name. It was deeply Christian in orientation. We commenced each day with an assembly. What was the assembly about? It was a Christian service where we sang hymns from the songs of praise, and we all prayed in a Christian manner. We sang so regularly that as we grew older, we knew most of the songs by heart. I can still recite a lot of songs today. Once again, it was our parents who saved the day. They had two societies or associations, namely Muslim Association of Nigeria and Women of the Muslim Association of Nigeria. As a team, they approached the school and made a case for Muslim children to be allowed to practice their faith in the school. Of course, there was initial resistance from the school, but the two societies were dogged in their determination to ensure that their children were not deliberately or inadvertently alienated from their faith. After a protracted struggle and negotiation, a compromise was arrived at. What was the compromise? The compromise was that on Fridays, instead of having the usual Christian mode of worship, the assembly was to be conducted in an Islamic way. This was a great achievement. However, it posed some challenges. The action was strange and novel. The Muslim students were not prepared for it. Generally, there were few students who knew any verse of the Quran. Even Surah Al-Fatiha was beyond the scope of a lot of students. Most of the older students were not knowledgeable enough to lead the prayers. The baton had to be extended to the junior boys on many occasions. This led to my leading the prayers on Fridays.
Highlights of the opening ceremony include the launching of Muslim Woman magazine, a publication of the Federation of Muslim Women Associations in Nigeria. Dignitaries at the event took turns to launch the outstanding publication by Form 1. The chief launcher of the occasion, a lover of the religion of Islam and of course Form 1, Engineer Yusuf Lanre Shagaya, was first to launch the magazine. Ably represented by the national chairman, Muslim Media Watch, Alhaji Ibrahim Abdullah, he launched the magazine with a huge sum of money.
On behalf of Engineer Yusuf Lanre Shagaya, the chairman and chief executive officer of Eula's consultant, is buying 100 copies of this magazine for a sum of 2.5 million naira.
Second to mount the podium is the keynote speaker at the event, Dr. Abdurrauf Babalakin's son. He thrilled everyone at the event as he launched the magazine beyond everyone's expectations.
To support the great organization, I will make my donation in 3 lots. The first one is from Ramatu Ibiromke Babalaki Foundation. My mother 2 million naira. On behalf of my father, Honorable Justice Shehu Tijani Bolariwa Oyegoke Babalaki, 2 million naira. And then from my humble self, 1 million naira. Allah.
The hosting Vice Chancellor of University of Ilorin, Professor Abdul Ghani Ambali, in his goodwill message, welcomed everyone present at the university auditorium. He added that Ilorin is a state of harmony, therefore, Form 1 members should feel at home.
No matter where you come from, if you look at Ilorin closely, not even under the microscope, you find a sister and a brother of yours here in Ilorin. Then let me welcome you specifically to University of Ilorin, the university that is better by far and is becoming the university of choice. And let me thank you all the mothers for bringing out the best in all our students that are here. Because we know that here in the University of Ilorin, we have zero tolerance to quite a number of vices. Be it exam malpractice, cultism, and other social vices. And that's why we record minimum number of vices here and at Ilorin. So we thank you, mothers, for bringing out those children in the best way possible. And then let me also acknowledge the contribution of Form 1 in the upliftment of all Nigerians, and to let you know that University of Ilorin is in tune with your mission and vision. So on behalf of all of us, once again, here at the University of Ilorin, let me welcome you to our mix. Please feel free. We have quite a number of recreational facilities here in Ilorin, here at the university.
Next is the memorable speech of the Amir al-Mu'minin, the Sarkin Sarakuna, May Al-Farma Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Al-Hajj Muhammad Saad Abubakar III. He described Form 1 as one of the most organized Islamic body in the country.
This special day, Friday, which is a holy day, special day for us Muslims, we are gathered in this hall to be part of history, to be part of those marking the 30th anniversary of this great body. I was physically present in Abuja when you marked 25 years, and time flew by. Alhamdulillah, today we are here marking 30 years of existence of this very great body. We would like to thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his blessing on us and for making it possible for us to see this day. And I want to take this occasion to congratulate the leadership and all members of Form 1, which I can say without any contradiction as one of the most, if not the best organized Islamic body in this country. By mere looking at you in the hall this morning, one can see how organized you are. And I think that's part of Islam. And we must be proud of being Muslims. And in whatever we do, we must always remember that we are Muslims. And Islam orders us to do certain things and also prohibits us to do certain things. We want to take this opportunity to congratulate all members of Form 1 on this epoch-making event here today.
The Sultan Al-Hajj Saad Abubakar reiterated the importance of motherhood to the progress of a nation. He challenged the leadership of Form 1 to be part of opinion-making bodies by adding their voices so as to address issues that affect the country. As the population of women, he said, in the nation will enable them gain acceptance in democracy. Democracy, he said, is a game of numbers.
It's very important to know and to reiterate the importance of motherhood and leadership in our homes. All our problems start from homes. If you don't have a good mother, you will definitely not have a good home. If you have a bad father and the mother is there, she could still bring up the children and make the home to be what it's supposed to be, a home. There's a difference between a home and a house. Anybody can live in a house. But for you to be in a home, you must be up and doing, you must be somebody who fears God in whatever religion you profess. Alhamdulillah, as Muslims, we have Islam as our way of life. Whatever we need to do or not to do has been enshrined in the Holy Quran, and of course, for the sunnah of our most noble leader, Annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I want this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to Form 1 for inviting me to be part of this occasion. I want to just throw a challenge or two to the leadership of Form 1 and all of you. You must add your voice to issues affecting our country. We know the population of Muslim women in this country. You must be part of opinion-making bodies where people must listen to you whether they like it or not. Since we are operating democracy, and I believe democracy is a game of numbers, and I know the women folk in this country are much more, and I know you should also be able to reach out to your non-Muslim sisters to formulate a policy where everybody who is aspiring for any office or when is in that office must consult you and listen to your opinion, because you are the homemakers, you are the homekeepers, and you are the ones bringing up our children. And if we don't have a good society, we don't have a good society backed by fear of God, then I can say we have no society.
It is the tradition of Form 1 to assess the activities of its state chapters and amiras for a period of 1 year and award those that performed excellently at the annual national conference. For this year, 3 states distinguished themselves. The states are Niger and Adamawa State, with Oyo emerging as the first position.
To comment that all the states, they have performed themselves excellently well. However, in an assessment of this nature, some states must excel. So that is why we have 3 states that have distinguished themselves, and we would like to mention them. The third position goes to Niger State. Niger State was selected because they excelled in educational and dawah activities within the states, and they have effectively coordinated the local government branches. The second position went to Adamawa State. We observed that despite the security challenges we have in this area, this state has not relented in the execution of their programs and projects. These challenges also did not hinder them from making appropriate intervention into the situation on ground, as well as responding to national and zonal assignments. And the first position, which I know we're all waiting for, goes to OYO, Oyo State. Oyo State was selected because they have excelled in the coordination of local government branches and affiliates. There is effective supervision too of the activities across the local government area, and there's good networking with local government agencies and other partners.
To present the award to the best Amira, Hajia Zara Dahiru from Adamawa State is the Olori of Ilorin.
Her Royal Highness Mama is handy to make this presentation to the best Amira of the year 2015 in the person of Adamawa State Amira, Mrs. Hajia Zara Dahiru. Allahu Akbar.
The Executive Governor of Kwara State, His Excellency Dr. Abdul Fattah Ahmed, in his address, appreciated Form 1 for holding an event of this importance in his territory. He further commended Form 1 for choosing the theme due to its importance at this time.
We are particularly elated that Form 1 has chosen to hold this all-important event here in Kwara, where our peaceful atmosphere and traditional warmth are conducive to an event of this nature. I therefore wish you very successful deliberations and enjoyable stay with us. The theme of 2015 National Conference, Religion and Ethnic Plurality, Implications for National Integration in Nigeria, is apt. As you are aware, all religions, and particularly Islam, preach peace, love, and good neighborliness. In the same vein, ethnic plurality constitutes a source of strength for national integration and development. Indeed, a country with diverse cultures can build on such heterogeneity as a source of strength. Certainly, diversity is a major source of strength for the United States of America. Sadly, the reverse is the case in Nigeria, where ethnicity continues to divide us despite 55 years of independence. However, I hold that bad governance and the accompanying trust deficit, rather than our diversity, are responsible for divisions that still hold us back from true nationhood. If our people enjoy a good quality of life, educate their children in standard schools, raise them in comfortable homes and secure neighborhoods, and are guaranteed a secure future, I seriously doubt if it will matter where our leaders come from. Certainly, the ethnic cleavages we face today are heightened more by decades of bad governance, rather than the fact that we speak different tongues. If we look at religion, for example, the values embedded in it are enough to guarantee good governance and national integration. Islam teaches what we should support. Islam teaches us that we should support our leaders to create a good society for us to thrive in. It also extols such leaders to lead with integrity, fairness, justice and freedom for all, to prosper subject to only to the limits of their ability. While it is not my intention to make excuses for the insurgency currently plaguing our country, the same lack of leadership can be observed in the crisis. I hold that in the absence of poverty and the presence of good education and other indices of good governance, it is doubtful if the insurgency, which has been wrongly attributed to Islam, will have thrived. I therefore offer good governance that delivers timely benefits to the people, as well as a return to traditional values of integrity, fairness, diligence, good neighborliness, and honesty, espoused in Islam and indeed Christianity, as solutions to the challenges that we face, especially ethnic disunity and religious intolerance.
And the 30th Annual National Conference of Form 1 was declared open by the Executive Governor of Kwara State, wishing them a fruitful deliberation.
It is my hope that the resolutions of this conference will complement the efforts of Kwara State government in her pursuit of harmonious living and peaceful coexistence among all. With these remarks, I have the pleasure and honor to declare 2015 Form 1 National Conference open in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most beneficent and the most merciful.
The program came to an end with a vote of thanks delivered by the Kwara State Chapter Amira, Hajia Silifat Ishola, and the closing prayer by Al-Haji Abdul Aziz Agbola, respectively.
On behalf of Federation of Muslim Women Association in Nigeria,
I sincerely and heartily express our profound appreciation and gratitude to Almighty Allah for His grace on us, making this conference a success. Our thanks also go to the following dignitaries: Her Excellency, the wife of the President, ably represented by Alhaja Salmat Muhammad, Eminence the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Saad Abubakar III, Senate President Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, Executive Governor of Kwara State, Alhaji Dr. Abdul Fattah Ahmed, his wife Mrs. Omalewa Ahmed, the Speaker, Kwara State House of Assembly, our Royal Father Emir of Ilorin, Chief Imam of Ilorin, the Chief Launcher, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ilorin, who made all these facilities in the university available to us, the Vice Chancellor of Kwara State University, and the Proprietor of Al-Afrikiy University of Ilorin, Dr. Abdurrahim Oladimeji Dagumolu of Urusland, great founder of 4-1, participants from all our international community, and the cities, brothers and sisters in Islam. Thank you very much. We appreciate your support and we appreciate your coming.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma rabbana la tu'akhizna in nasina akhtana. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
The Federation of Muslim Women's Associations of Nigeria's delegates from their respective states converged back at the auditorium in the evening to give an annual report of their state activities. Each state took turns to give an account of their achievements, challenges, and made recommendations.
Despite the challenge, the whole committee was able to perform the following activities: going to all camps to sensitize the IDPs on the life in the camps, be conscious of salat, use of hijab, and counseling them to appreciate the calamity that befell them as test from Allah. Health. Throughout the year, UNICEF and National Primary Health Care engaged 124 members in the campaign to eradicate polio virus, routine immunization against the 6 killer diseases, maternal and child care.
A financial report: the school account has 1.5 million, the business account has 190,000, the Form 1 account has 200,000. We have the Masjid project account, which has about 4 million.
Local government report. Sardana local government. The local government branch embarked on Monday Nasia on health education and skill acquisition. It assisted the less privileged with finance to start petty businesses in order to sustain their families. It also conducted Ramadan Tafsir in various centers within the local government. One account at Keystone, 50,000 naira. Project account at Skybank, 30,000. Money at hand, 15,000 naira.
And the third and final day of the annual conference featured syndicate sessions where delegates were lectured on different topics and grouped into 4, named after the founding and active members of Form 1. The presenters of each topic were all up to the task as they did justice to the given topics.
In the colonial Sokoto Caliphate, all of us know about Nana Asma. Nana Asma, who played a tremendous role in ensuring social justice. The status of women in Islam sees a man as a man and a woman as a woman created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are equal in their rights. Women, however, are the homemakers and centers of the family. They are the main custodians of social, cultural, and fundamental values of the society. They are best achievers and home architects and role models. Full development is not possible without their understanding, cooperation, and effective participation. In the midst of darkness that engulfed the whole world, the divine revelation echoed in the wide desert of Arabia with a fresh, noble, and universal message to humanity.
Because charity begins at home, parents should equally develop in their children. We as mothers, we should develop in our children at their tender age the values of unity. Let us sensitize our children to the values of unity, the values of harmony and peaceful coexistence. Let us encourage them to live together. The Hausa man should see the Yoruba as his brother, not as Bebe Banza. The Yoruba should see the Hausa as his brother, not as Gambari Banza. And we should not see the Igbo man as Nyamere Banza. Let us see them as our brothers and sisters.
There is a presupposition for us to thoroughly understand our religion. Without a thorough understanding of our religion, we will be engaged in motion without movement. An understanding of our religion presupposes the establishment of active learning. The only thing that distinguishes the community of Muhammad is that they are a community of learners from cradle to grave. There is no benefit in activism without knowledge. So, Form 1 must have programs for learning.
The auditorium was next port of call for delegates to give reports of the syndicate sessions, and translations were made in the indigenous languages.
The concept of discrimination is an act of differential treatment you give to people, and that the discrimination has always been there from time immemorial, and that this democracy started in Athens. In Athens, then they discriminated against a lot of people, especially the foreigners and women. They had no right to vote, and they didn't have right to be voted for. Same thing happened in Rome. And then, even in US, there were a lot of discrimination against Africans in terms of accommodation, admission to college, and so on. And this continued until 1941. It was in US in 1945 that they started legislating against discrimination. And they told us that discrimination, like I've said, is the differential treatment you give to an individual.
The lecturer went on to describe what is citizenship. He said, right in Islam has given women the right of citizenship, where the nation throughout the world, women are not given this right. He also said a lot of books have been written on this topic. He talked about history of human and what our prophet said during the other his era, and what the Holy Book said. He refers us to Quran chapter 4 verse 1. Keep your duty to your Lord and to your Lord only. Our Almighty Allah enjoined women and men to be equal in deeds, except on very few occasions. Women can go to mosque, unlike what we are seeing today. The Prophet enjoined women to go to mosque. And what we are seeing today in the north, generally most of the mosques in the north, women don't attend. Even in Saudi Arabia, he said this is contrary to what the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam practiced.
Tidad ya magana ne akan matsalolin da mata ke fuskanta a wajen ganin cewa an ba su haƙoƙinsu na kasancewa su ɗan ƙasa ko kuma ainihin 'yan jiha, inda yake ya fara bayani da cewa musulunci shine addinin da ya ba mata haƙƙi bisa ga kowane addini, kuma ya yi bayanin haƙoƙin da musulunci ya ba mata cewa musulunci ya ba mata haƙƙin rayuwa don mun san an yi zamanin da ake ma kashe ɗiya mata an haihe su, ya ba su haƙƙin kuma addini inda ya ba da misali da manzo sallallahu alaihi wasallam ma ya ba su dama su je masallaci kuma su ba da gudunmuwa wajen ɗaukaka addinin musulunci.
wọ́n kọ́kọ́ sọ fún wa pé kí Islam tó dé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ oríṣi ọ̀nà ni wọ́n ti gbà láti tẹrí obìnrin mùsùlùmí obìnrin sílẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí Islam dé, Islam jẹ́ ká mọ̀ yìí pé kò sí ìyàtọ̀ láàrin ọkùnrin àti obìnrin. Islam sọ fún wa wípé obìnrin kò kí ń ṣe igbá ìwẹ́wọ́ tí ó kàn lè máa gbé dànù síbi kan.
Dr. Becky started by saying that a child is like soft clay that we can shape and mold according to the way we handle them. She said to us that it is very important for children to create a sense of identity and self-worth. And this they get from the way we nurture them and in the environment they live in. That it's very important to give children and youth the affection, the support, and the sense of direction that they require to live good lives. If we do not, and we allow children and youth to become detached from family and community, we will know the consequences as we are beginning to find in our society. How well we nurture them will determine whether the children or the youth are loyal and respectful of the laws of the land.
Kí ni àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n sọ lé wọn lórí? Èkíní wọ́n sọ pé ọmọdé ó dàbí amọ̀ tó jẹ́ pé tó tutù tí a mọ ẹ rí pé bá a ṣe mọ wọ́n sí yẹn ni wọ́n ṣe máa wà títí di ọjọ́ ogbó wọn. Wọ́n wá tún bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ yìí pé oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀tọ́ ni àwọn ọmọdé wọ̀nyí ni wọ́n ní lábẹ́ òfin ètò ìṣèlú àti pé ẹ̀tọ́ tí ó yẹ kí gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí ká jẹ́ kí àwọn ọmọ wa ní nínú ìgbésí ayé wọn. Èkíní wọ́n sọ fún wa pé wọ́n ní ẹ̀tọ́ sí ìlò ilé ayé wọn. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí wọ́n fi yé wa pé àwa òbí ni Ọlọ́run bá máa bi bá a ṣe tọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa torí pé kí ni àdàrànjẹ̀ la jẹ́. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì wọ́n ní bí wọ́n ṣe ń dàgbà sí wọ́n ní ẹ̀tọ́ sí báyẹn ń dàgbà kí ni àwọn nǹkan tó yẹ ká máa fi kọ́ wọn ní àwùjọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìyá. Wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ fún wa pé àwa ìyá ni a ní iṣẹ́ tó pọ̀ láti ṣe lórí àwọn ọmọ wọ̀nyí torí pé kí ni tí ọmọ bá dára ti àwọn bàbá tó bá kù díẹ̀ káàtó ti àwọn ìyá ni. Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kí àwọn ọmọ wa yàn kan yanjú. Wọ́n wá tún sọ fún wa pé ẹ̀tọ́ tí àwọn ọmọ wọ̀nyí tí wọ́n ní ní ìfẹ́, wọ́n ní ẹ̀tọ́ sí ìfẹ́ láti fi ìfẹ́ hàn sí àwọn ọmọ wa. Gbogbo ìgbà tí wọ́n bá dẹ̀ ń ṣe nǹkan ká máa rí wípé à ń yìn wọ́n torí pé kí ni tí a bá ti yìn wọ́n tó bá ti sọ̀rọ̀ tí a bá ti gbé wọn ní ìdáhùn pé gbẹ́nu ẹ sọ́hún a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ ẹ rí i pé nǹkan míì tó yẹ kí àwọn ọmọ yẹn kí wọ́n máa bá wa sọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí àwa pàápàá obìnrin la súnmọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa púpọ̀. Nǹkan tó yẹ kó dẹ̀ sọ fún wa ní nǹkan àṣírí wọ́n lè má lè sọ fún wa torí pé kí ni a jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ sí àwọn ọmọ wa.
The best religious leaders or the best organizations that can lead people are the ones that are very good and they have focus. Unlike those ones that are very bad with bad ideas such as Boko Haram, Metatsine, John Jones, all these examples he gave were the religions that were not really good.
To Allah belongs the earth and sky, so wonderful. All the oceans wide, the mountains high, the animals. Looking at the sky, so many million miles over space and time, there is only one God. From a treetop, watch the sun start through a dew.
متوجم مقلدي لا إله إلا الله National Conference of Tijaniya Leaders, organized by International Organization of Tijaniya Brotherhood. The theme for today, as for last year, is still Tijaniya and the universal peace. But the reason for retaining this theme has much to do with the reality of what we are facing today. So the question of searching for peace and the fact that internationally Islam has been tagged as a religion of destabilizations and problems, crises, make it mandatory on us to retain the theme so that the discussions will further our understanding that Islam is all about peace. More specifically, I welcome our mother, Sayyidah Rukis, the wife of our grand spiritual leader, Sheikh Ibrahim Inyas, who lived all her useful life with the Sheikh. She traveled extensively with him, and she's still traveling on his behalf in servitude of Islam, of the Tariqa and the Faida. Our chairman, Alhaji Chief M.A. Ola Yusuf, a fellow chartered accountant and the chairman of Nigerian NML Ware PLC, who is also a direct student of Sheikh Ibrahim Inyas, is here with us as a chairman, and is going to share with us his experience as a student of Sheikh and as an active promoter of Islam in the southwestern part of Nigeria. Alhaji Suleiman Zuntu, a known politician, an active politician, an active member of the Tariqa, is here with us also, and we're expecting him to share with us his experiences in politics as well as his experiences in the spread of Islam and the Tariqa. My fellow participants, membership of IOTB cut across all sectors of the society, but more specifically, it is for those within the working class and businessmen and women. Among the key activities of IOTB is the management of her student arm, the Tijaniya Muslim Students Association of Nigeria, TUSA, in the various institutions in the country, whose objective of sensitizing the younger generation of our youth on the tenets of the Tijaniya Tariqa, as well as guide them on their future career pursuit. We are calling out on our students, and we're doing it with all seriousness, to carry along all Muslim youths by active participation in programs of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria. Active participation in the programs of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria in all their institutions. One basic fact that cannot be doubted is that not only are Tijaniya adherents peace-loving, but their practices are the core message Quran and the prophetic traditions. We therefore call on Tijaniya members to hold on to these clear teachings and to avoid practices or tendencies that mystifies and corrupt the tenets of the Tariqah. It is on this note that I once again welcome all the participants and call on those who are not registered to please do so and inform others about the IOTV. I declare to you all that our unity is our strength as a community, and it is our collective responsibility to forge peace, togetherness, in the love of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his message. Alhamdulillah.
The Sheikh Ibrahimians, there are three qualities in my view which I noticed because I had personal relationship when he was alive. When I left my secondary school, Baptist Mosque School, I went to the bank. And in the 1960, 59, 60, 61, Sheikh Ibrahimians was trying to build a mosque in Ebutemeta. And I always wear my trousers and my ties. And because of the nature of my dress, it came out very clearly. So and Sheikh will call me because then he put his hands on me after the prayer and pray for me. And that developed a relationship. So anytime I come to Tafsiri by Sheikh Ibrahim, he will ask me to be drawn near. That relationship continued with the present leadership in Kaula. And I'm proud and happy that that has now brought us one of the eminent leaders of this country, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. He's a reverend, he's a pastor by religion. He built a church in OOPL, Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library. We attended the same school together. Apart from that, we are very close as friends. So, and I said to him, My Excellency, you have built a church. What about the mosque? Your friends cut across religions, tribal, and national boundaries. You can't just build a church without a mosque. If I come to OPPN and there's time for me to pray, I'm not going to pray in the church. If people come from Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or even from the north here in Nigeria, they must have a place to be. He was convinced. And said, okay, look, what do we do? I give you a piece of land, but you have to build it. I'm not going to build it for you because I have no money. I said, okay, don't worry, give us a piece of land. To cut a long story short, he gave us about 2 acres of land to build a gigantic central mosque, which is going on now, to build the Imam house, and to build the Arabic and Islamic school. He appointed me as the chairman of the board of trustees for the building of the mosque. And he gave me the responsibility to look for the fund to build it. Surprisingly, you can't believe it, Olusegun Obasanjo has now spent more than 70% of his money to build that mosque. And the mosque has reached an advanced stage. A lot of people do not understand him. They are saying that Emola should be converted Obasanjo to Islam. If God wants it that way, why not? There's nothing possible in the face of Allah. The second thing that happened in my relationship with him is that I saw a picture of Sheikh Ibrahim Niasse and himself when he was head of state, military head of state. And I said, so you are close to Sheikh? He said, yes, of course, he was my friend. I said, then we must go to Kaula together so you can have special prayer from the Grand Khalifa. He thought I was joking. To cut it also short, we went to Kaula with full publicity in CNN and some other media to pay homage to the present Grand Khalifa, Tijani in Kaula, who prayed for him for several hours. And Obasanjo declined a written speech that as long as he lives, he will continue to support Islam and will continue to support Tijani organization in Nigeria. So that is one of the things we must try to do. We must reach out. Sheikh Ibrahim has reached out to all people, all leaders, everywhere in the African continent. There was a relationship between him and Gowon and so many other leaders. He's not related on the basis of religion. He is a highly civilized and cultured man, and we should learn from that. As Khalifa has said, there is no compulsion in religion. That is Quran. You can't compel even your own son or daughter to be Muslim. Allah will make whoever he wants to be Muslims. And he cautioned us, do not compel anybody. There is no compulsion in religion. We thank you. I hope our celebration today will strengthen the Tijaniya, the International Organization for Tijaniya in Nigeria. We want this organization not only to be for Nigeria, but to be for Africa. And why not even for the world? International statistics on religions has shown that Tijaniyans in Africa is the line.
And I think you mentioned Kurma also. So my advice to Tijaniya youth is to get involved in politics. It is very, very important. You are living in Nigeria and you cannot live in isolation of what happens in the country. If you like, you can classify the Nigerian society or any other society in the whole world into 4 groups. First, the political group. Second, the armed forces group. Third, the bureaucratic group. Fourth, the economic group. If you look critically, the most important of all is the political group, because it can direct what happens in other groups. But then, if Tijaniya feel that politics is dirty and they are not interested, it means they are excluding themselves in all the 4 groups. And it will not be in the interest of Tijaniya. Being with God in isolation is excellent. But being with God in public is far more better. You are in this hall, but it's only your body that is in this hall. You are thinking of thoughts and planning. Everything is with God. So there is need. You can still get involved in politics and remain what you are